Welcome back, Friday Dose, the Backup Monster Show. Again, with my friend, Steve Kenniston.
Thanks, Pawel.
Storage Alchemist. On the last episode, we talked about the modernized data protection. But before we'll drill down to the technology, first question, my friend. On which concert you've been lately?
Ooh, good question. Concerts lately? I actually saw U2, something I always wanted to do. I'm not a big concert guy, but I saw U2. It was very good.
Okay. It was the first time on YouTube?
First time ever.
Okay. So, because we have our own band.
They're awesome.
It's called Backup Monster Band. They're not playing like U2. I think they play...
I think they play better.
But, thank you. Sorry, Bono. So, we don't have them today.
I know, they're empty, they're not here.
Yeah, I know, but they're right now doing a concert. So let's contact them and let's get the information. Guys, how are you doing?
Pawel! Hello! Steve, hello! We are just before the show in Reykjavik, Iceland, whatever. Best regards to you. We cannot be with you today, but we will join you soon. Best greetings to all Backup Monster Show spectators, audience. Cheers! See you soon.
Okay, Steve, so they send in the greetings and they promise that we'll be on the next episode.
We'll get them next time. We'll get them next time.
You need to find it out next time. Which music drives you crazy, my friend?
I don't listen to a lot of music, but country music, that might drive you a little bit crazy.
What about the opera?
No, I can't listen to opera either. No. I'm more of a talk radio guy. Got to listen to my podcast and my Friday Dose.
Okay. So definitely you need to be on one of the gigs with the Backup Monster Band.
I do.
Okay. On the first episode with us, we talk more about the modernized data protection. And I would like to a little bit more drill down into the API and the multi-cloud journey. So how the IBM right now helping their customers to achieve these challenges?
Yeah, I think you see, if you look at some of the newer capabilities that we brought out with Spectrum Protect Plus, I think it's a little bit more evolved than Spectrum Protect. But with the API integration and the data reuse sets of capabilities, you can actually make direct calls into other applications that DevOps teams might use, or development teams, or maybe even analytics applications that can tie the data set that they need directly to the application. So that's a great way to be able to leverage the API sets of opportunities. The other thing, and we see this a lot, is the integration with the cloud. So the fact that I'm going to do what I call operational recovery from a local disk drive. So I take my snapshots and I put them in we call it the vSnap repository, and I can instantaneously turn those around and make them available for both recovery as well as any of the data reuse use cases. But that's only good for certain amount. My data doesn't need to live on disk forever. That's an expensive place to leave it. So now I want to be able to offload it someplace. But I want to be able to offload it someplace that is convenient for me and my organization. So I don't want to have to go any particular place. I might want to go to IBM Cloud. I might want to go to Azure. I might want to go to AWS. The multi-cloud vision and the multi-cloud strategy that IBM is putting forward is to give clients the flexibility and the opportunity to be able to do that type of thing. So that's what we mean when we say multi-cloud enabled, and also from the API perspective, API enabled.
You say that this set of the features, so to choose one of the clouds, it can be also a brilliant opportunity for the managed service providers using the SPP, yes?
That's correct. So think about, when you think data reuse, it's not just backup anymore, right? The reuse use cases can be multitude. So if I'm a managed service provider and I want to be able to offer my clients not only backup as a service, but a data reuse or a DevOps as a service, or a DR as a service, now I have a great way to broaden my portfolio, my set of capabilities that I can offer my customers.
So we spoke about the managed service providers. Let's talk about the legacy backups. I got also many questions about it, yes. How today legacy backups are dying or evolving?
That's a great question. I think a lot of the legacy, or a lot of what I would call the incumbent, right? So if I look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant, the traditional 5 that have been in the leader category, right? You have Veritas, you've got EMC, you've got Commvault, HP, IBM, now Veeam's kind of making their entrance. But if you look at, aside from Veeam, they're kind of what I call the new legacy. But if you look at the real legacy guys, the ones that have been around for a while, they're going to have to evolve. I think you see a lot of makings of capabilities in their portfolios of them trying to do that. So the first step of evolution was things around compression and deduplication for storage efficiency. Think Avamar, think data domain, right? That was kind of a step forward for those guys. If you think Commvault, you think about all the different features they had under what used to be Sampana, but now is their product, right? They're trying to add more value to their individual products. They're now doing, a lot of these newer technologies are doing things like have the ability to manage snapshots, right? And we talked about snapshots, gives you that instant recovery and instant backup. So you're starting to see these things evolve a little bit to have these capabilities. Here's the challenge. The challenge is with these incumbent backup products is they are hundreds of millions of lines of code. Anytime you want to do anything, and they're old code sets, right? Anytime you want to do anything to those, you add a feature, you've got to drag that whole code base along with you, right?
So it's not a matter that
it's not
they
that
need
simple.
to die because they're old architecture, but it's time for small change in this code. Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of these newer technologies are built around things like APIs and RESTful APIs and containers. So when I need to make a quick system call for a cloud provider or a snapshot capability or something, it's an instant, hey, call this API and do it, right? So these things they're more readily built, they're faster to market, and that sort of thing. So while the incumbents could get there, and don't get me wrong, none of those legacy environments are necessarily going away that rapidly. You're still going to continue to have mainframe. You're still going to continue to have bare metal systems. You're still going to continue to have Unix, and those systems have been protecting those systems for eons, decades, right? And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you don't just rip it out, right? Yeah. You're going to continue to have new environments, leverage the newer technology capabilities, and then slowly phase out as your environment starts to phase and evolve also.
So how to cope with it, Steve? Because what I see, there's many of the opportunity that the customer is saying, we would like to have the new systems, but we do also need the old architecture and the old functionalities that the legacy system has. So how cope with this problem?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, because I think the answer is two-pronged, maybe more, right? The first thing you want to be able to do, I think, as the newer generation comes in and is starting to take a little bit more control of the data protection or even data management environment per se, right, is they want to leverage the newer technologies, right? And they know they can't get rid of the old technologies. So what's the biggest challenge they have? The biggest challenge they have is management, right? So now I've got to go to 2 different management consoles, and is that really the best thing that I want to try to do for my environment? And the answer is no, right? But if you think about it, there's no one vendor that has the new and the old, except IBM. And I'm not just saying that to say it, right? But if think about this, if I'm a traditional net backup customer and I happen to like Rubrik or Veeam, I want to deploy the new stuff for my newer environments, but I'm still going to continue to leverage the legacy or the incumbent technology on my legacy environment. I'm still going to have two management constructs, right? I think the biggest thing we at IBM think about is the fact that we know that's not the direction that the customers want to go. So today, can I deploy Spectrum Protect plus Copy Data Management and Spectrum Protect and have one management tool? You can't, right? But that's our vision. So if you think about the vision and you think about the way people are going to want to manage data and build around design thinking and what I'm looking for, that's the direction. But people who have existing incumbent technologies need to be thinking about what are their objectives, right? lower the OpEx, simple single management set of capabilities, and just know that over time, you might have to deal with a couple before you get to utopia, where you really want to be.
So definitely it's important that IBM has a vision in this area. And I many times saw that the customers replaced the installation to get rid of the legacy, to go into the new stuff. And after a year, after two, they started to have the same problems as a legacy system.
Correct.
So we need to be, always think about what will be the best for the customers in the end. Steven,
yes.
You agreed to be our war correspondent from the technology battlefield.
And I am looking forward to it.
So it's not easy job. So you need to go to different countries, make your own videos, and send it to us.
I'm looking forward to it.
And we'll share with our audience.
Very good.
So let's remind what we've done lately. It was in November, I guess. So the Spectrum Storage User Group.
Correct.
Let's see this video.
All right, Harley. So Steve Kenniston, the storage alchemist, here trying to be the war reporter for the Friday dose. So tell us what you're doing here in Sweden.
So I'm at the Swedish Users Group meeting for the Spectrum storage software and hardware, and it's probably my favorite user group around the world. And I don't mean to offend any of the other user groups, but it's a great group of forward-thinking folks. A lot of people come out, and we just get to share roadmaps, latest updates, but we get an amazing amount of feedback that actually drives changes in the product.
Yeah,
that's what I'm most excited about.
Having been in a couple of sessions, I really appreciate the user feedback. It's good, right?
It's phenomenal. We've done a lot of things specifically from the feedback from this group in Plus, since that's come out, and in Protect and a lot of the other products. So it's a great group, and excited to be on the Friday dose. So.
What was the big highlight or takeaway from this user group?
Probably it's just the fact that we've made a lot of progress with Plus and got some really good positive feedback for the changes that we've made, that we've driven, as well as the things we're doing on Protect with our tiering that we delivered, and that went over really well. So that's good to know we hit the mark.
Cool.
So.
Harley, thanks so much for being on the Friday dose. Pawel,
Thank you.
I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Hey, Pawel.
Thanks, man. All right, Jim, good to see you again. How you doing?
Hey, good, Steve. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We're here at the Swedish User Group. So what's it like being here in Sweden at the User Group?
It's great. Weather's great.
Weather's great.
Can't
Weather's
complain.
cold.
Weather's cold. The air is clear. Can't complain.
Can't complain.
A lot of great business partners, a lot of great customers here. Good feedback. One of the best user groups in the world.
Yeah, I have to agree. After being here and seeing what goes on, I think the level of engagement of these users is fantastic. I think we get a lot of good takeaways.
Yeah, phenomenal. Hey, as the Swedes say.
Hey, as the Swedes say. What was the big, what did you present and what did you talk about?
So I talked about Plus and where we're going. Kind of looked inside how it works. Talked a little bit about where we're going with the product.
And you and
The
Jason.
strategy. Jason Bassler and I talked about the blueprints.
That was fantastic, right?
Thank you.
I liked your comment. It's now the law to use the blueprints, which
Not
is
just a good idea.
It's not just a good idea. I think that's great advice.
Yeah, thank you.
So good times.
Great times.
Where are you going next?
We are going to the last session, the Birds of the Feather.
Birds of a feather.
Got some more great input. Thank you.
Let's go see what the birds of a feather have to say.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Take care.
Take care.
That was great.
Oh, Sweden was
Splendid.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, so could you tell more how it was, and did you plan to come back?
I definitely plan to come back. I think, as I told you before, my role inside of IBM is the Spectrum Storage software portfolio. And I think, as you can see there, we talked a little bit about Insights, Storage Insights, which is a great management technology for the platform, for all of the IBM platforms. We talked a little bit about data protection, and data protection is really core to what everything we know, we live, and we breathe. And then we talked a little bit about a new product, Spectrum Discover. I think we alluded to that a little bit. And I think we saw a lot of the customers very excited about the portfolio, the vision, the plan. I think it's the clearest IBM's been about how we plan to kind of roll out our technology and how it fits within our overall portfolio, but also how it adds business value to not just buying hardware, right? But it's a combined solution. It was very good. It was very good.
I think everybody knows that the hardware is right now the commodity, especially in a data protection field. So IBM is addressing and giving the choice what the best hardware to choose. Tell me a little bit more about the discovery, because I think it's also new stuff, and lots of audience would like to have a knowledge about it.
Yeah.
A few words.
No, sure. Spectrum Discover is a really great technology, right? It's basically what it is because data is growing so much, so fast, the only way to really manage it and extract value out of it is through the metadata of all of those different assets. And so what Spectrum Discover does is it allows you to categorize the metadata of all of your assets within your environment to then turn around and use that for business value. Do I need it for compliance? Hey, this is a compliance set of data. Do I need it to be able to find things, to do analytics on? Hey, this data set is particular to this particular operation that I want to do, right? It's a way to quickly find and quickly analyze your data sets so that you're not continuously waiting around. We take inputs from a lot of different technologies, a few right now. Cause is one of them, Scale is another one. You're going to see third parties like Isilon come along. So we really want to open up the portfolio to be able to leverage the ability to take in data from any place you want to be able to bring it that is a large-scale data repository.
I'm thinking that the discovery in the future could easily integrate via the API with the Spectrum Protect Plus that we spoke about before.
When you start thinking about data reuse and metadata and that big repository of data,
this is the knowledge. Yeah.
It's the knowledge, right? So I mean, I think you're making a good point.
Okay, thank you, Steve. But I need to ask you because lately IBM acquired the Red Hat. So could you give us a little bit of insights how this acquisition will lead in a storage area?
Certainly. I mean, a couple things, right? So the deal hasn't closed yet, right? So we're in the process of acquiring, but it's probably going to happen, right? The other thing, this is just Steve Kenniston's opinion, right? The Storage Alchemist opinion. But I believe myself and all of my colleagues within systems are really, really excited. I know during the acquisition press release, they talked about cloud like 30-something times in the press release, right? That this was a cloud acquisition. But more than 50% of Red Hat's revenues come from their Linux software, which is now the #1 selling operating system in the world. It eclipsed Microsoft even, right? So that aside, I see that the Red Hat platform and systems together can be something pretty special together. First of all, Red Hat's commitment to the open systems world and combined with IBM's commitment to the open systems world. And when you think about multi-cloud, for example, you think about one customer touching 5 different clouds within their business. That's what multi-cloud is all about. Now you take the ability to manage data across all those cloud platforms consistently because they have a lot of underlying commonality amongst them, being the Red Hat platform, being the API integration sets of capabilities. I think it's a pretty robust and a pretty powerful thing that IBM has in its portfolio now. So I personally am pretty excited. Okay.
And of course, the important part is the open virtualization platforms and the containers, because it's not only about the VMware and the Hyper-V anymore. It's more about the Red Hat virtualization open stack that the Red Hat is devoted to invest in this field. I'm personally happy because I also invested in this segment by creating the vProtect, which also allows Spectrum Protect to get the backups from this kind of the hypervisors.
True.
But how you see this open virtualization, it will be some evolution or revolution. Do you see on your markets what's going on?
Yeah, I think if you think about what VMware has been to EMC for so long, I think Red Hat has the opportunity to be that for IBM. Not exactly the same, but pretty close, and I'll tell you why. The way VMware 10 years ago was, I'm 10% virtualized, 20% virtualized. Now people are 90% virtualized. Containers are the next generation. And to have that in our portfolio and to be able to build solutions around containers that take customers into the future with containers capabilities, I think is pretty special. And I think I really like our opportunities being in that driver's seat right now because that's the next wave.
So, cannot agree more with you, Steve. So the containerization, this is actually the new battlefield, and the multi-cloud approach. So the OpenShift integration with the IBM Cloud and the others, it's a brilliant opportunity to IBM to, doing some good stuff in the next years.
I think so.
And I heard that Red Hat will be fully independent, like a VMware in the EMC acquisition, right now, Dell EMC. Coming back, my war correspondent. So which countries have you been hitting in 2018?
I think it's going to be all over the world. I mean, I'm in a very lucky spot. My role is a global role. If I think about last year, I was in Germany. I did all of the Nordic countries last year.
It's a lucky spot for miles and more, I guess. No? It's a tough job.
It is a tough job. But I was in Poland. I did probably 50 user groups in the United States this year.
50?
50.
Not 15, 50.
50. Not in every state, but
Okay.
It's very exciting. So I get to meet a lot of great customers, and I love to travel. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy to be your war correspondent. I will be broadcasting live every place I can possibly be. Obviously, I don't have my schedule yet, but I'm sure I'll be over here quite frequently.
Okay. How you cope with work and personal, let's say, work-life balance?
Yeah.
So it's, because you said lots of traveling, so I guess in 50 user groups, Europe, Asia, etc. So how you cope with it?
I think if you've been traveling as long as I have, you're a good planner, right? So if I have to leave on Sunday, I leave on Sunday. But typically, if I can leave Monday, I'll leave Monday, try to come home Thursday nights or Friday mornings. I have, obviously, my place in Massachusetts and a house in Maine. I'm from Maine originally. I'll go up there and I'll relax some. I've got my little dog. She's the love of my life, so I play with my little dog. Just gotta do it. But you say work-life balance, I also love my job, right? I mean, I get to meet great people. I get to go out in the field, meet great customers. I get to do fun things like this. It's all, it all kind of melds together, and it's all great.
Sure. Fully with you. So you are from Boston, Massachusetts.
Correct.
So what's your hobbies there?
Well, so it's winter now. So in the wintertime, I'm a hockey nut. I love ice hockey. I hear you guys don't have such a great team
NHL?
in Poland. NHL, yeah.
We have Tchaikovsky, but he's not playing anymore.
And in the summertime, I'm an avid boater. I love boating.
Okay.
Fishing, boating.
You have your own boat?
I have my own boat, yes.
So we need to create an episode on
We
one
can
of them.
do a Friday dose on the boat.
So I need to ask my producer, can I go to Boston, Massachusetts?
He doesn't look too happy.
I got information. No, everybody. But definitely, okay. So NHL.
NHL.
You said not only US, yeah?
No, I've actually been to games in Czech Republic. That was fun, right? Sweden. So I was hoping to go to one in Poland, but
I need to ask, we are better than Czech or not? Okay, thank you. No. So no, we need to be better than that. Okay, Steve, as we agreed on this episode, you are our war correspondent from the technology battlefield. But this is one gift that I need to give you.
It's Christmas.
I know, it's after Christmas, but every correspondent
my
needs to be
backup monster
hoodie.
sweatshirt, my hoodie. All right.
So this
From
is
the field.
From the field, yeah. And I got some label, but maybe somebody will give me later on. So welcome on board.
Thank you, sir.
My friend, and hope to see you next time.
I'll be here.
So Stephen, really excited to have you on these 2 episodes and looking forward for the next ones as a war correspondent.
Me too.
That was a Friday Dose, the Backup Monster show with Stephen Kenniston from IBM, our storage, alchemist, and war correspondent of the Backup Monster. Dobra,
Ajo.
Ajo.
Dobra, to teraz będzie drugie ujęcie, tak?
Blah, 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 blah. That was great.
Beautiful nation. Beautiful nation. Like